Have you ever noticed how some people stay completely steady even when everything around them is loud, chaotic, disrespectful, or just plain rude? While you feel your chest tighten the moment someone hits the wrong nerve, it's not because they were born with some special gift, it's because they learned a skill most people never even attempt to master: the skill of guarding their inner world no matter what happens in the outer one. The truth is, anyone can get under your skin if you allow every tone, every comment, every attitude to slip into your mind unchecked. But a Stoic figured out something much more powerful. You can't control people, but you can absolutely control how much permission they have to influence your emotions. And today, you're going to learn exactly how. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to walk through 5 Stoic principles that can make you calm, centered, and almost untouchable, even when the world is doing everything it can to provoke you. If you're ready, let's begin. 1. The pause. Detach yourself from reaction. Most people assume anger simply happens to them like some force that appears out of nowhere and drags them into a reaction. But anger doesn't just appear. It grows from one tiny moment that almost everyone ignores, the moment between what happened and how you reacted. That tiny window, that single breath, that split second is where emotional chaos begins, and where emotional mastery starts. The Stoics understood that you can't always control the first spark, the automatic emotional hit you feel when someone disrespects you, raises their voice, rolls their eyes, or tries to embarrass you. That spark is biological. It's your nervous system firing before your logical mind wakes up. But the second moment, the one where you choose your response, that moment belongs to you. If you learn to own that second, you learn to own yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are distressed by an external thing, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment of it." He was pointing to a hidden truth. The world doesn't control you. Your speed of reaction does. Slow that speed even for a single breath, and you reclaim control. That is the essence of the pause. When someone provokes you, your amygdala, the emotional alarm system, fires instantly. It pushes your body into fight or flight. Heart rate rises, breathing shortens, focus narrows. Your instinct is to react, not to think. This is where most people lose. They move faster than they can understand. Their mouth reacts before their judgment forms. And once the reaction escapes, it can't be taken back. Think about the last argument where you said something you regretted. Was it careful thought, or was it speed? Most regret is born inside the seconds where people fail to pause. A Stoic trains themselves to stretch those seconds, just enough to interrupt the emotional pattern. So how do you do it? You start with a simple rule. Before you react, you pause. Even if it's one breath. That breath buys clarity. It buys control. It helps you stay in your identity instead of falling into someone else's chaos. Picture this. Someone snaps at you during a meeting. Your instinct is to snap back, defend yourself, or match their tone. But imagine instead you inhale slowly through your nose. You feel your feet grounded. You feel the heat rise, but you don't allow it to overflow. That emotional wave loses momentum. You rise above the moment. That's what the pause gives you. Altitude. Altitude gives perspective. Perspective gives power. A person who reacts instantly is easy to manipulate. A person who pauses is almost impossible to control. People who try to provoke you rely on your impulsive reflex. They count on you not thinking, just reacting. But when you pause, their entire strategy falls apart. They can't play the game because you're no longer playing it with them. Here's a real example. You're driving and someone cuts you off. Without the pause, you instantly choose anger. This guy disrespected me. Your body responds with tension, honking, yelling, or speeding up. With the pause, the interpretation changes. A reckless driver crossed my lane. It happened. I'm still safe. The situation didn't change. Your inner experience did. The pause also protects you from your own imagination. Without it, you react not to reality, but to the story your mind quickly invents. The pause ends the story before it spirals. It works not only in anger, but in embarrassment, insecurity, confrontation, confusion, any moment where emotion spikes. It teaches your body that not every emotional surge requires action. It trains your mind to value clarity over speed. Here's a practice you can use today. The one-breath rule. When triggered, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6. This tells your brain you're choosing awareness, not impulse. The 3-second discipline. When someone provokes you, imagine a 3-second buffer around your response. Your only job, observe the emotion without feeding it. You'd be surprised how many conflicts dissolve simply because you didn't react instantly. Over time, this pause becomes automatic. You notice irritation before it becomes anger. You sense tightening breath before your voice sharpens, and because you catch it early, you stay in control. Your reaction becomes a decision, not a reflex. People will notice. You won't flinch, you won't explode, you won't drop to their level. You stay centered. That is Stoic power. When you pause, you take back your autonomy. When you pause, you lead the moment instead of being led by it. When you pause, you become someone no one can easily provoke. If you control the first second, you control the entire moment. 2. Control the interpretation, not the person. One of the biggest sources of unnecessary anger is the habit of taking everything personally. Someone raises their voice, we assume it's about us. Someone looks upset, we think we caused it. Someone replies shortly, we take it as disrespect. But here's the truth. Most of what people do has nothing to do with you. They're acting out their internal weather, not commenting on your worth. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that the only thing truly in your control is the meaning you assign to events. The event is neutral. Your interpretation creates the emotion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't be. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." He wasn't saying people won't behave badly. He was saying their behavior only affects you when you give it meaning. Most people jump straight from event reaction without ever noticing the middle step, interpretation. That's where emotions form and grow. If you don't control it, your peace becomes a hostage to someone else's mood, ignorance, or insecurity. Imagine texting a friend and getting no reply for hours. The event is neutral, but the mind writes stories. They're ignoring me. They're annoyed. I said something wrong. They don't care. None of these are facts, just stories, emotional stories. But what if the interpretation is, they're busy, they're distracted? It's not personal. They'll reply when they can. Suddenly, the emotional intensity disappears. Same event, new meaning, different emotion. The same happens in conflict. A coworker interrupts you. Your mind labels it disrespect. Your body reacts, but maybe they're stressed, rushed, or unaware. Change the interpretation, and the entire emotional landscape shifts. Stoics taught that peace comes from how you frame what others do, not what they do. Here's a truth most people never realize. In most emotional conflicts, the threat is imaginary, not real. It exists in the story you tell yourself. This doesn't mean you excuse disrespect. It means you don't jump to conclusions that create unnecessary suffering. People fall into traps. Personalization, believing someone's behavior targets you. Mind reading, assuming intent without evidence. Catastrophizing, imagining the worst meaning possible. It's dramatic, but almost never accurate. confirmation bias kicks in. You start searching for details that match your assumption and overlook everything that contradicts it. When these mental traps take over, your emotions stop responding to real events and start reacting to imagined ones. You end up battling shadows, not the truth in front of you. Stoicism breaks this cycle with one simple habit: pause and reinterpret. Before you jump into a reaction, ask yourself, what else could this mean? What is the most neutral explanation here? Am I adding extra storylines that don't exist? What proof do I actually have? This isn't weakness. This is emotional intelligence. This isn't passiveness. This is clarity. This isn't allowing people to walk over you. This is refusing to step into traps created by your own mind. When you shift interpretation, you shift your emotions. When emotions shift, your reactions shift. And when reactions shift, your inner power grows. Let's look at a real scenario. Someone talks to you with a rough tone. Your mind instantly labels it as disrespect. But what if they're overwhelmed, anxious, distracted, or wrestling with their own internal problems? Their tone reflected their chaos, not your value. Or a stranger gives you a cold stare. Why assume it's aimed at you? Why create unnecessary anger? You have no insight into their day. Your mind is simply filling in empty spaces with negativity. Or imagine your partner feels distant. Your first thought might be, I messed something up, or they're losing interest. But they could just be stressed, tired, or lost in their own thoughts that have nothing to do with you. Do you see how interpretations build emotional illusions? The goal is to respond to facts, not assumptions. Here's a daily drill to practice: the neutral interpretation exercise. Whenever something triggers you, force yourself to create 3 possible explanations: 1 negative, 1 neutral, 1 positive. This teaches your mind that the first interpretation is not always the true one. It stops emotional overreaction and builds steady thinking. When you control interpretation, your inner world becomes calmer. People lose the ability to upset you. You stop walking around with emotional landmines ready to explode. Because instead of assuming the worst, you allow space to choose the meaning that protects your peace. You may not decide what others do, but you absolutely decide the lens through which you view them. And that lens determines whether you live with anger or inner freedom. You don't react to people. You react to your interpretation of them. Change the interpretation and you reclaim your peace. 3. Guard your inner fortress. Every person you meet carries a storm within them: stress, fear, insecurity, frustration, old wounds, and invisible pressures. Without realizing it, people spill that storm into the world. They project, snap, criticize, compare, blame. They pass their emotional weight to anyone without protection. If your inner boundaries are weak, their storm becomes your storm within moments. 1 harsh comment slips into your thoughts. 1 irritated tone stays under your skin. 1 dismissive gesture loops in your mind. Their inner chaos turns into your emotional damage. The Stoics understood this long before psychology. They taught that your mind must operate like a fortress, a guarded citadel that only allows what is useful, rational, and true to enter. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel. Epictetus called it the space where no one else has authority. Seneca described it as the only territory that truly belongs to you. The modern world teaches the opposite. It encourages you to absorb everything: opinions, moods, negativity, comparisons, criticism, pressure, judgments, and every piece of emotional noise. But when you absorb everything, you lose yourself. You lose clarity. You lose emotional independence. Your mind becomes a public hallway anyone can walk through and leave a mess. To protect your inner fortress, accept this truth: not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not everyone has earned the right to influence your emotions. You wouldn't hand a stranger the keys to your home. So why give strangers access to your peace? Most people don't realize how open their inner world is. They let every irritation in. They let every opinion echo inside. They allow emotionally unstable people to dictate their mood. A rude comment stays for hours. One online insult becomes a burden. Someone else's insecurity becomes your self-doubt. This isn't sensitivity. This is having no boundaries. Protection starts with awareness. You must recognize when someone is trying, knowingly or unknowingly, to enter your inner space. A coworker snaps at you because they're stressed. A family member criticizes you because they feel insecure. A stranger glares at you because they're unhappy with their life. None of this is about you, yet most people absorb it. Seneca warned, "We suffer more in imagination than reality because we allow external behavior to penetrate too deeply. We let people walk straight into our mind without checking whether they bring value or harm." To stop this, picture your mind surrounded by a wall, not to shut out the world, but to filter it. A strong wall doesn't isolate you, it protects you. It separates what deserves space from what doesn't. Imagine standing inside your fortress. Outside, people shout, their emotions echo, their problems roar like distant thunder. But inside, the air is calm, because you decide what enters. Use the gatekeeper rule. Whenever someone triggers you, ask, does this deserve space in my mind? Is this my responsibility or their emotional storm? Will this matter tomorrow, or am I letting noise invade my peace? If the answer is no, leave it outside the gate. Don't argue with it. Don't replay it. Don't wrestle with it. Let it stay outside where it belongs. And here's the surprising part. When you stop absorbing people's negativity, their behavior loses its power. You become unprovocable. Your emotional stability becomes solid. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you selective. You interact with the world, but you don't let the world invade you. Here's a practical exercise. Create 2 mental lists. Aloud inside my mind. Objective facts. Lessons that help me grow. Calm feedback from people I trust. Truth, logic, meaningful ideas, encouragement and inspiration. Not allowed inside my mind. Other people's insecurity, their bad moods, their projections, their assumptions, their drama, their temporary anger. This is your filter. This is how you enforce sovereignty over your inner world. Another technique is keeping a fortress log for 7 days. Each night, write down what invaded your peace that day. Should it have been allowed inside? Was it your storm or someone else's? What will you refuse to let in tomorrow? By practicing this every day, you train your mind to stop absorbing everything automatically. You become intentional. You become guarded. You become internally disciplined. Over time, something powerful takes place. People begin to behave differently around you. When they see they can't shake you, they stop trying. When they notice your calm is not easily disturbed, their chaos stops spilling into your space. When they understand your emotional territory is protected, they approach with more respect. Your fortress becomes a presence. Your peace becomes a boundary. Your calmness becomes authority. Most importantly, you start to feel the difference yourself, a quiet strength growing inside that wasn't there before. You don't react as quickly. You don't take things personally. You don't absorb needless negativity. You don't crumble when someone else collapses. You stand steady in your citadel. Your mind is sacred ground, guarded with intention. Not everyone deserves access to your peace. 4. Emotional detachment. Feel, but don't fuel. Many people misunderstand emotional strength. They think being strong means being numb, unbothered, or completely unfazed. They believe it means suppressing emotions, pretending not to feel, acting like nothing touches them. But that's not Stoicism. That's avoidance. And avoidance breaks down eventually. Stoicism teaches something more effective. You don't have to kill your emotions, you only have to stop feeding them. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is clarity, the ability to feel without being consumed. It is noticing anger rise, the sting of disrespect, the weight of sadness, while refusing to let those feelings run your entire mind. Every emotion begins as a sensation in the body, a tightness in the chest, a change in breathing, a rise in heat, a small pressure behind the eyes. These are the early waves. You cannot stop these initial waves. They are biological and human. What you can prevent is turning that wave into a storm. People become overwhelmed not because they feel too much, but because they attach too much meaning to the feeling. They analyze it, replay it, narrate it, justify it, inflate it, and obsess over it, layer after layer of story. By feeding the emotion with thought, they make it larger than the original moment. Marcus Aurelius said, "The mind becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The more you dwell on a feeling, the stronger it becomes. The more you feed it, the more it controls you. Emotional detachment teaches you to separate the raw sensation from the story. Here's a common example. Someone speaks to you sharply. The immediate feeling might be irritation or hurt. That's normal. What destroys peace is what your mind adds next. They don't respect me. They're trying to embarrass me. People always treat me like this. I should defend myself. None of these are facts. They are interpretations that fuel the flame. Emotional detachment interrupts that process. It trains you to witness the emotion without fusing with it. Step 1. Name the emotion. When anger or hurt rises, say to yourself, "Anger is here," or "I feel tension." Naming it moves you from feeling to observing. It creates distance. Step 2. Let the emotion exist without adding narrative. Most suffering comes not from the feeling itself, but from the thoughts layered over it. Remove the story and the emotion loses its power. Tell yourself, this is a wave, not a verdict. This is a feeling, not a command. This will pass. Step 3. Allow the wave to rise and fall. Neuroscience shows most emotions last about 90 seconds unless you fuel them. If you sit with the feeling without feeding it, it naturally dissolves. Emotions are like storms. Stand inside the storm and you get battered. Watch the storm from shelter and you see the rain without being drenched. Detachment is that shelter. Imagine another moment. Someone dismisses your opinion. The spark appears. Irritation, embarrassment, maybe anger. Instead of reacting, you create internal space. That's irritation. I feel it. I'm observing it. You don't replay the tone. You don't build a narrative about disrespect. You don't assume motives. You let the wave pass. As it fades, clarity returns. Now imagine responding from clarity rather than emotional noise. Your tone is steady, your posture controlled, your words measured. The other person senses something they can't manipulate, someone who feels but does not collapse. That is emotional sovereignty. Detachment is vital in relationships too. Silence, distance, or attitude can trigger old insecurities. Instead of drowning in assumptions, detachment asks you to pause. My mind wants to make a story, but I don't have evidence. This is a feeling, not reality. That separation prevents needless conflict. There's a related concept, thought spirals. A thought spiral starts when one emotion triggers multiple interpretations, and each interpretation triggers more emotion. For example, he seemed annoyed. He must be upset with me. I did something wrong. I always mess up. Why even try? None of this is factual. It's emotional fiction. Detachment breaks the spiral at step 1. I notice annoyance, nothing more. That single move creates enormous freedom. To build this skill, use a 7-day practice. Day 1, simply name your emotions without judging them. Day 2, pause before reacting to sudden emotional shifts. Day 3, shorten the stories your mind builds around feelings. Day 4, witness one difficult moment without adding fuel to it. Day 5, identify 3 triggers that disturb your peace. Day 6, practice 1 moment of non-reaction during a conversation. Day 7, reflect on how many emotions showed up but never turned into storms. By the end of these 7 days, patterns become visible. You will still feel emotions rising, but they won't dominate you the way they once did. Emotional energy will appear, yet it won't turn into conflict. You will experience frustration, but without the urge to explode. Detachment never means you stop caring. It means you stop collapsing. It means you stop turning temporary feelings into your entire identity. It means you stay centered even when your emotions try to pull you off balance. And here's the truth. Emotional detachment makes you incredibly hard to provoke. People who want a reaction lose their script because nothing they do pulls you into chaos. They expect anger, you respond with clarity. They expect insecurity, you show presence. They expect volatility, you offer stillness. This doesn't just protect your peace, it completely shifts the power dynamic. When you stop fueling your emotions, no one else can fuel them either. You are allowed to feel everything, but you are not required to feed anything. That is what real emotional mastery looks like. 5. Respond through values, not impulse. Most people go through life reacting rather than responding. Someone uses a sharp tone and their voice instantly hardens. Someone challenges them and their ego erupts. Someone disrespects them and they snap without a second thought. Their behavior is shaped by the moment, not by the person they want to be. Stoicism teaches the opposite. A Stoic doesn't allow the outer world to dictate their inner state. They don't let someone's comments shape their character. They don't let disrespect rewrite who they are. Instead of acting from impulse, they respond from values, the principles they choose to live by. Here's the key. Impulse is temporary, values are lasting. Impulse reacts to the moment, values respond to the bigger picture. Impulse is emotional, values are intentional. Impulse is how children respond, values are how grounded adults lead. The Stoics believed every action should be guided by 4 core virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. These become your compass whenever someone tries to provoke you. Wisdom keeps you from firing back mindlessly. When voices rise around you, wisdom asks, will reacting emotionally help me or harm me? It slows you down just enough to see clearly rather than through the fog of anger. Justice helps you stay fair even when others aren't. Maybe someone is rude because they're overwhelmed, insecure, or carrying unseen pain. Justice doesn't excuse their behavior. It simply keeps your response balanced instead of aggressive. Courage keeps you steady. It gives you the strength to speak firmly without shouting, to hold your boundaries, and to address issues calmly rather than avoiding them. Courage shows itself as calm confidence, not loud dominance. Temperance is restraint, the discipline to not express every emotion you feel. It's the strength to walk away from a pointless argument. It's the wisdom to keep your peace instead of trying to win. Temperance is one of the most powerful emotional skills you can develop. When you act from these values, your reactions become stable and unshakable. The moment stops controlling you. The other person stops controlling you. Even your own emotions stop controlling you. Imagine someone insults you. The impulsive version of you would attack back or defend yourself. But the value-driven version pauses, breathes, and stays rooted in who you choose to be. You might calmly say, "I'm open to a real conversation, but not in that tone." Or, "We can talk, but we're keeping this respectful." Notice how that sets the standard. Without aggression and without weakness. The dynamic shifts instantly. They expected emotional fire. You answered with principle. Or imagine someone tries to manipulate your emotions. The old you might panic, over-explain, or argue. But the new you says, "I'm staying calm. Let's stay with the facts." Or, "I'll respond when things are clear." No drama, no chaos, just clarity. When you start responding this way, people notice something different. You become harder to provoke, harder to manipulate. You stop being dragged into emotional battles that lead nowhere. You carry a quiet strength that commands respect. And gradually, the world adjusts to you, because your behavior is guided by your standards, not by circumstances. Here's the real power behind value-based responses. When you act according to your values, you always walk away proud. No regret, no guilt, no replaying conversations in your mind. You stayed centered. You stayed intentional. You stayed in control. Impulse makes you lose yourself. Values help you become yourself. And nothing makes you harder to provoke than knowing exactly who you are and choosing to remain that person no matter what chaos appears. You've just learned 5 Stoic principles that can transform the way you move through life forever. Not by making you emotionless, but by giving you control, the ability to protect your mind, choose your reactions, and rise above the noise that consumes most people. The truth is, you can't stop people from being rude, insecure, jealous, careless, or disrespectful. But you can stop giving them access to your inner world. You can stop letting their storms become your storms. You can stop handing your peace to people who never earned that power. When you pause, interpret wisely, guard your inner fortress, detach from emotional spirals, and respond through your values, you become someone who is not easily provoked. You become steady, you become centered, you become untouchable. If this message brought you clarity, comment below, "I choose self-mastery." And remember, your peace is yours to protect.